All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Yuanji,
I'm Saint.
and today we're going to open some stuff.
Some old stuff by now, right? By the time they see it, it'll be out for a while.
Yeah, hopefully. Right? I think this video, we're going to be directing at new players.
Yeah.
Basically, how to get into Flesh and Blood. And basically, in 2022, Legend Story Studios, the makers of Flesh and Blood, have created this product. So, as like a brief overview of what Flesh and Blood even is, let's go over that before anything else.
Yeah.
So Flesh and Blood is like player versus player.
Hero versus hero.
Yeah, hero versus hero, like combat fantasy game.
Fight to the death.
And in one of our first videos, you kind of compared this game to Street Fighter.
Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's a really apt comparison. If you've played any other card games, this game feels very different compared to those. And it really does feel very much like you're playing like a fighting game in card form.
Yep.
So there's times where you are attacking your opponent and they're like blocking, and then they like try to take back the tempo, and then they go on their offensive, and you're basically trying to like jockey for who can keep up the pressure and win the fight. Yeah.
And one key moment that makes Flesh and Blood the best, and also reminds me of my teenage, my childhood video game playing years, is when you're both at really low life points, really low health bars, and everything's on a knife's edge, and you need to hit the right cards, and you're attacking, they're defending, they're attacking back, you're defending, and just trying to get that last 1, 2, or 3 damage points through to win. So it really does bring that whole suspense and the excitement of fighting games into TCG form. And I'd say classic battles, we don't agree on the value of classic battles, but I think we're going to get into it.
Yeah,
right?
Let's talk about the product first. So this is the first classic battles. What do you get in the product? You get 2 Blitz decks. So Blitz decks are 40 card decks. You can play against each other. The 2 characters that are featured are Rhinar and Dorinthea. So these are 2.
Yay!
These are 2 of the original characters that were in the very first set of Flesh and Blood called Welcome
to Wraith. Yep.
And actually, for this one, they kind of like retooled Dorinthea. Dorinthea is a warrior. She fights with her sword, the Dawnblade, and a lot of her cards revolve around like power up her weapon attacks.
Yep.
And Rhinar is a brute. So brute is a class where they are really focused on like these big attacks that have 6 power. And there's a little bit of randomness involved.
Yeah, kind of like a barbarian class, more chaotic. Some discarding to like 2 cards for one effect to hit much harder. Some die rolls are involved. I'm not sure if this product necessitates die rolls.
Yeah, there. I don't think that there are cards that involve die rolls, but there's like random discards. And so let's start. Let's take a look at what's in this product, and then we can like go over it. This product has an MSRP of $50. I believe that you can get it from most stores for around $35, $36.
Yeah, yep. I think wholesale's like $28 and retail's $40 or less.
Yeah. So let's open.
Are we digging in?
Yeah. Let's see what you get inside, and then we can talk about what it is. So the question at hand is, if you're a new player and you're trying to get into Flesh and Blood, is this a good product for you? And we're gonna try to answer those questions, and then also maybe show you a little bit of gameplay at the end with these decks to see is this the kind of game that you want to get into?
Yeah, designed for new players. Learn to play at fabtcg.com/learn. Okay,
so right off the bat, you get this is kind of reminiscent of I don't know if you bought any of like these like Pokemon like 2-player like starter like decks. They give you like a little paper playmat.
Yeah, it's a paper playmat. Feels kind of like it's not the best, but playmats in Flesh and Blood are very collectible and they get rather expensive. So it's understandable that if it's your first experience, you just get a 2-player playmat similar to what's in the IRA starter, or no, what's similar to the what is it called? Retailer Appreciation
Yeah,
Kit.
which is like a super collectible thing.
Yep.
So this playmat basically has like the layout for all the zones that you use, as well as like a description of what they do.
Tell you to learn to play. fabtcg.com/learn.
Yeah. I don't think ideal if you plan on playing the game long term, but good starting point.
Yep. for the first game or two, just to get yourself situated.
Yeah.
They've got a mini lore book that I haven't had the chance to read yet.
Yeah, I think
one side is Dory, one side is Rhinar.
I think a lot of these. So Flesh and Blood has like a very collectible lore book that they came out with.
Yeah.
That's like 4 figures plus, like $1,000+.
Probably about $1,500 right now.
And this is basically like kind of like excerpts from that, telling you the backstory behind the warrior Dorinthea and the brute Rhinar.
Yep.
Going into their backstories as well as like where they came from.
For sure. And there's some new art in there too. It's not bad. I mean, something that comes as a toss-in with a starter package is not the worst. Okay.
So let's take a look at the cards actually that you got.
Let's. All right. I always like saving the best for last. So tell you what, you can open up the brute pack first.
All right, sounds good. So you got 2 decks. These 2 decks are self-contained. They're basically just like ready to play right out of the package. You get some equipment. So Flesh and Blood is kind of a unique game where you start the game with these equipment cards. So the Bone Vizier, the Blossom of Spring, and then the Ironhide Gauntlet and Legs. You can start the game with these. And they give you some block, some resources, some utility. You get a Cold Foil.
Cold Foil. Yes, this is the hero. This is a young hero. It's different from the normal young hero from Welcome to Wraith. It's a majestic rarity, and it's Cold Foil. I like that it's the same hero, same abilities, and new art makes it collectible. So I'm a big fan. Just in case, I haven't checked for grade ability, but just in case, I'm going to put this into a graded sleeve.
Yeah, you get this little like art card that has some information on the character's like mechanic.
Yeah, for sure. This looks like, this is basically the art that's in the black bordered rainbow foils, right? The foreign black bordered rainbow foils.
Yeah.
They've got this in the German, Italian, French, Spanish ones. So that's cool.
And then you get a Cold Foil weapon.
Cold Foil weapon. That needs a sleeve.
So this weapon, pretty funny. It's kind of like a downgrade from Rhinar's like weapon from Welcome to Wraith.
Yeah, they criticized it for some reason, right?
Yeah.
What was the reason again?
I think they wanted to make it like a little bit easier to understand. I think for 90% of like the game, especially when you're playing with like more beginner decks that don't have like all of the higher power cards.
Yeah.
They're functionally the same.
Sure.
But the weapon that Rhinar gets in Welcome to Wraith has like an added benefit if you manage to put together some like more powerful turns. Okay.
I'm guessing neither of us play. Well, I know I don't play Rhinar, so
yeah. And then you get 2 Majestics. One of them is like a mentor card, and we'll go over like the cards individually later. But then you just get like you get a blitz deck put together for you, and we're gonna shuffle these up and play against each other.
Yeah.
At the end of the video, but that's pretty much like what you get. For each hero, you get a Cold Foil hero, a Cold Foil weapon, rainbow foil equipments.
Yep.
And then you get 2 Majestics.
Yep. A mentor card, and in Rhinar's case, is an Alpha Rampage, which is already in Welcome to Wraith.
Yeah.
Alpha and Unlimited, same art. Now, I'll just leave these cold foils here. They're pretty cool. They're cool to have collectible cold foils. Now we'll get to my favorite hero, Dorinthea. Dorinthea Ironsong. She is a prodigy of the sword. Hence, she is the lead warrior and the only female character in Welcome to Wraith. So always was a Dorinthea fan. Still play Dorinthea when I can, although she's underpowered these days. But it's a great place to start. That's where I started. The Helm, the Blossom, Gallantry Gold, and Ironrot Legs. So those are her 4 gears. Look at that, even her Cold Foil just shines that much more. There's that gold border, reminding me of the Farewell to Wraith, Dorinthea as well. But instead of just being good old Dorinthea, or young Dorinthea, she's Dorinthea Quicksilver Prodigy.
Yeah, so this is actually a new card.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an upgrade, but it's different from her normal, young Dorinthea abilities. First time Dawnblade Resplendent gains go again. Each turn you may attack an additional time with it this turn. So the old Dorinthea, you actually had to hit, right? And then have a go again.
Yeah.
This, as long as you have a go again, you get a second hit.
Yeah, and I think this one is a little bit easier to understand, especially for newer players. The ability is a little bit more straightforward.
And the Dawnblade is different too, because this is Dawnblade Resplendent.
Yep.
Different from a normal Dawnblade. Normal Dawnblade gets counters. It starts out at 3. This one, it starts out at 2, and then once per turn attack. The second time you attack with Dawnblade, it gains +1 until end of turn. So, yeah, it gets first hits for 2, and then hits for 3 if you have a go again, right?
And then you get 2 Majestics as well in the Dorinthea deck. You get a Mentor, Hala Golden Helm.
Yeah, Hala Golden Helm, yes. As well as something new, Glistening Steelblade.
And this is a brand new card that they printed for these classic decks. It's pretty playable. Most notably, it has a cool interaction with Dorinthea's new Dawnblade.
As well as the old Dawnblade.
Yeah, but the new one, mostly it's good because the new one doesn't drop counters.
Drop counters, yeah.
So if you do manage to hit with it and you get to get that counter, then you get like accumulating value over the course of the game. So it was just like a little bit of a new card. And I would say that if you look at all the cards in this product, most of the value in this product is going to be in the Cold Foil Heroes.
The collectability.
As well as the Glistening Steelblade Majestic, at least for now, just because it isn't printed in any other product.
Yep.
And so let's talk about, like, is this product a good buy if you're new to the game and you're trying to learn how to play? Let's grade it on a couple different categories. So let's grade it on playability, like value.
Okay.
Like, do you get like bang for your buck? And then we'll do an overall.
Sure.
So I think for playability, I think that it's pretty good. I give it like at least a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Okay.
The 2 decks, I don't think that they're necessarily like super powered against each other. They're kind of balanced. I think you get like a pretty good play experience.
Yeah.
And we'll see that in a little bit. But then you also get like the lore book. I remember when I was a kid, having like the lore books or like whatever the instruction manuals, I would just be like I'm like in the bathroom, just like flipping through it in my spare time.
Yeah.
I'm just like
when I got Legend of Zelda or a Mario Brothers or Street Fighter, just to read about the characters and see if there's any backstory, and this is appreciated, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think this to me is like one of the best things for like newer people getting in. It just like drives a lot of excitement.
Yeah. Giving you some tips and tricks, right? Getting you into the game, giving you some backstory,
definitely,
showing you some of the amazing art as well.
Yeah, I give Legend Story Studios like an A for including that little booklet. What do you think about the playability?
Well, I haven't actually played, but I see the cards. I'm familiar with a lot of the Dorinthea cards. I'm familiar with some of the Rhinar cards, and it looks like they've made this more simplified. So I would probably give it at least a honest college try, that they've tried to make things as user-friendly or as newbie-friendly as possible. So give it a B+, I would say.
Yeah. Let's talk about bang for your buck. Like $36 is actually quite a lot of money to spend for like a new product. If you were to compare it to some of the other products that are available, you can buy, for example, Blitz decks.
Blitz decks, yeah.
Blitz decks run you about
10 a piece,
$8 to $10, depending on like which stores you buy it from.
Yeah.
And those, like, you don't get the cold foils, you don't get the booklet, you don't get the play mat. But you do get like a deck, you get a full set of equipment to like play against your friends.
Okay.
So if you were to buy 2 Blitz decks, it's basically like about like half the cost of this product. Like, do you think that you get the cost? Like, do you get your money's worth?
Well, I happen to be a collector, so in my opinion, anytime you have special cold foils and you're only paying $5 for a cold foil, that's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the decks, I kind of feel that other than the Mentor card, the Glistening Steelblade is cool, the 2 Mentor cards, the Alpha Rampage feels bad. It's cool that I think they have titanium bubbles.
Oh yeah, these are new cards.
These are new cards that they can block, unlike the crack bubble, and you can actually use these cards, right?
Yeah, you can use these in
competitive play if you wanted to. But it's just cool that they came out with a new bubble card. It's cool that they have the art card, but I'd say it might be a little overpriced in my opinion. I would say that if this product came out literally at MSRP $34.99, and maybe after it was listed as at MSRP for that $35 for a couple months and it drifted down to $29.99, then that would be an amazing deal. Otherwise, I would give the value probably a B-, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think for somebody who's like getting into the game, it might be a little bit, I think, intimidating or daunting to like spend that much money on an introductory product. Just for like some comparison, usually cold foil like versions of Young Heroes, as time goes on and then the collectability increases, I don't know how long they're going to be printing this product for.
Yeah.
But Young Hero cold foils, especially ones that are playable, usually fall between like the $30 to $50 range. So if you take that into consideration, it's like this is kind of a steal.
Yeah.
But then that's also the history of those cards is that they were given out kind of as
participation prizes.
Yeah, as prizes for winning like local store events. Whereas this is something that's just like
comes in every box.
Yeah, it's just printed in a product. So I don't really know like where these will end up. I don't know if they're gonna print like the Dawnblade Resplendent in another set. A lot of these things aren't clear. I think probably if you are gonna get into the game and you're gonna hold on to it for like a while, you probably will definitely get your money's worth out of these cold foils.
In the long run.
Yeah, in the long run. But I think if you're just like getting into the game and you want to like maximize like being able to put together like decent decks for the amount of money that you're spending, I would say that these decks probably aren't like you want to...
The best bang for the buck.
Yeah.
I would start with the Blitz decks. But if you like the collectability and you just like the art, you like the heroes, you like cold foils, then there are reasons to get this product.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Like Rhinar, if I didn't play Rhinar at a recent Blitz competition, but if I did, I'd probably want to play this version just because it's different from the Rhinar art I've been used to looking at for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't be playing the Bone Basher, so I could switch out the weapon. As for Dorinthea, I really like that her original artist, Lius Lasahido, drew her. However, my only qualm with this Dorinthea is that she is tied literally to the Dawnblade Resplendent.
Yeah.
Whereas OG Dorinthea can play anything, any weapon that a warrior can play, and Rhinar can play any weapon that a brute can play. This specific Dorinthea is locked down to Dawnblade Resplendent, and that's it. Unless they created another Dawnblade Resplendent, which I don't know. I don't know what LSS's plans are, but unless they do create Dawnblade Resplendent 2 or something saying Dawnblade Resplendent, this Dorinthea is just stuck with this 2-power sword, forever. And that's it. She's locked in. She's never going to have any versatility.
Yeah, so I think overall, I also kind of give, if we're going to give like letter grades, I'd probably give bang for the buck on this. I'll give 2 grades. I think if you plan on if you know that you want to get into this game for the long term, I give this a B+.
Okay.
For bang
collectability.
If you factor that in.
Yep.
If you're just interested in playing the game and getting into it, I'd probably give this like a C, C-.
A C. So I was somewhere in the middle. I was at a B- because I rounded out both considerations. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not gonna waste time sleeving, or waste the camera time sleeving, because we already did. We've got
movie magic.
Yes, the movie magic, and having prep time like Batman, we were resourceful, and we got Rhinar together, and we got Dory together. So everything's sleeved, and we're ready to go.
All right, which one are you gonna pick?
I'm gonna pick my character. So yes.
So we're gonna play a game. Introduce you to some of the rules of Flesh and Blood, and maybe you can decide if this is the kind of game that you like to play.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. All right, we don't do this too often, but I guess we're playing some Flesh and Blood, huh?
Yeah. Let's just go over some basic rules for how to set the game up at the very beginning. So you have all these zones, which are laid out in the paper playmat, as well as most Flesh and Blood playmats that you can get.
Yep.
So your hero goes in the middle.
Yep.
And then there's a weapon spot.
I like mine on the left.
And then
put it on the right too.
Yeah, and then On your left hand side, you can
Head.
put the equipments.
Chest,
They all have their own spot.
arms, and legs. 4 equipment spots, right?
Yeah.
Token, and that's just the full art card. And we need a shuffle, right?
Yep.
40 card decks are a lot easier to shuffle. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So I'm going to make 5 piles of 8. I'm going to quickly pile shuffle. I learned this from Reed Duke. I literally didn't know how to shuffle or didn't know how professionals shuffled, and I had to look into it to actually learn. How do you shuffle, Yuanji?
No, I just I like bridge my cards.
You just bridge your cards?
Yeah. And basically, to go over it, so you first lay out all of your stuff. You find out what hero your opponent is playing. Actually, at the very beginning, we're playing with pre-constructed decks, so it's not really a big deal. But normally, you would have all of your equipments
that's right.
face down.
Even the gear, yep.
And that's just because you have the option of playing like the variety of gear. So you don't necessarily know what your opponent's playing. You just know what hero your opponent's playing at the very beginning of the game. And then you roll dice to decide who goes first.
Yeah, high roll.
Yep. So I got 15
to 1.
And Same got 1.
And I suck.
So I get to decide. Flesh and Blood
almost always wants to go first, I think.
Flesh and Blood is kind of a unique game where going first or going second. In most games, it's going first is almost always better. But Flesh and Blood, there's some things which make going second potentially better. Usually it's, and we'll go into it, basically the advantage of going first is that you get to do your first turn and you get to put a card in your arsenal, which lets you carry a card over from one turn to the next first. But when you go second, you get basically a quote-unquote free block, and then we'll talk about that.
We'll play our hands for the first 2 rounds, open-faced. Just for the first 2 rounds.
And then the other thing that you want to look at, so you have the heroes' starting life total. So for most Blitz heroes, it's 20 life.
20 life.
And then 4 intellect tells you how many cards
4 cards
you draw at the beginning of your turn.
We're presenting decks now that we have determined that Yuanji, I believe, is going first, right?
Yeah. And so you draw up your hand, and then you're deciding what to do with your hand. So all cards in Flesh and Blood have multiple values. It's a little bit intimidating to look at first, but once you get used to it, they all have this color stripe at the top, and that tells you how many resources they can be used for. They have an attack value, which is on the bottom left of the cards, and then they have a defense value, which is on the bottom right of the cards. So actually, I have a card that can't be used for block. You also have a card that can't be used for block.
That is correct.
But most cards in Flesh and Blood can be used for all 3 things. They can be used, you can play them, you can, they also have a cost, which is on the top right. So that's how many resources.
Resource cost.
Yeah.
Yep.
So most cards in Flesh and Blood can do like all 3 things. They can block, they can be used for resources, or you can play them for
their
attack,
effect.
Or whatever other effects. The main advantage when you go second is that you get a free block. So normally in Flesh and Blood, you draw up to your character's intellect at the end of your turn. So if you think about it this way, if you're on the offensive, you're playing your cards each turn. You basically get to keep like drawing cards and then playing them. And if you're blocking, then you can't like attack back because you're blocking. You're just like waiting for an opening.
Yes, you have to use your cards to block with, other than that first turn. So Yuanji, you were going first, right? You ready?
I am ready. So my character Rhinar has a ability which says whenever you discard a card with 6 or more during your action phase, intimidate. So I actually drew my Majestic right off the bat, and I can intimidate basically twice, which is pretty good for me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this Wrecker Romp. It pitches for 3, and then I'm going to play this Alpha Rampage. So Alpha Rampage says, as an additional cost, I have to discard a random card, so we can maybe roll dice to decide.
Or just make it random. It's a friendly game. You're discarding that.
Okay, so this has 6 power, so my hero ability also activates. So I get to basically remove 2 cards from Saint's hand that he can't use to block with this turn.
Okay, so now I'm on the defending side.
Yeah.
I happen to have an instant. I think the opportune thing for me to do would be to use this.
Yeah, because you don't want to get stuck with this card in your hand. You can't block with it.
Actually, 2 cards. No. Actually, I can wait. Maybe you banish it and I can still have 2 cards left.
Okay.
Right? That makes sense too. So you're double intimidating coming in for 9, correct?
Yep. So I'll pick this one, and I'll pick this one.
To go banish?
Yep.
Right? I can look at them.
Yep.
You cannot, right?
Yep.
Okay. And now I will block for 3 and take 6.
Okay.
Right?
And then this costs an action point. So all heroes get 1 action point per turn. And some things let you do multiple actions, but that since my card doesn't have anything that gives me an additional action point, that's my turn.
Okay, so this goes to the graveyard. I will also use a Sigil of Solace to go to 15.
Yep, you gain a life.
Gain a life.
And then I have an extra card. I can store this in my arsenal. Normally it's face down, and I'll just store this, and I'll use it. I can use it for the next turn.
Okay, so your pitch is cycled. That goes to the graveyard.
Oh yeah, and this is a kind of unique thing about Flesh and Blood, where not like the cards are used for resources. Instead of kind of discarding them or getting rid of them forever, they actually go to the bottom of your deck. So if you're like into a little bit like higher level, whatever, you actually can kind of control the order of your deck when you go through it the second time.
Yeah, it's called pitch stacking, right?
That's a little bit advanced.
It's more advanced. Yep. Okay, now we both draw up.
Yep.
Right? And now, okay. See, we're playing open faced. I do have some attack reactions, and he's not supposed to know that. But
yeah, so Dorinthea is one of her kind of like core gameplay is that she can play things called attack reactions, which you can use to buff like your attacks at instant speed.
Exactly. So I have 4 attack reactions. Or I have 3 attack reactions.
Yeah.
And 1 attack action. I need Go Again, and this happens to have 3 resources. This is a better Go Again card, and it also buffs my Dawnblade. So what I shall do is I will play the On Guard to give the weapon Go Again, and +3. Have to pitch this for resources, so I will have 2 resources left.
Yep.
I guess we'll use the die for now because we have a life counter. 2 resources floating. And the Dawnblade, once per turn, takes a resource. I'm making sure I already have Go Again, so this Go Again already lets my Dawnblade attack a second time.
Yep.
That condition is fulfilled. And I go attack using 1 resource.
Yep.
And I attack for 5.
So a lot of the gameplay for Flesh and Blood revolves around kind of decision making when you're doing attacks and blocks. So I have to kind of think about, I have to play my turn in advance. I know that Saint is going to be able to attack with this card again for 5 or for 3 at least. And then he also has 2 cards in his hand. He probably wants to use at least one of them. You kind of want to, if you can, like you use all the cards in your hand if possible. But then he also has, and then you can save one. He can save one in his arsenal. So I'm probably gonna want to be doing some blocking. None of the cards in my hand let me do more than one thing a turn. And I also have this card in my arsenal that I don't necessarily want to keep there. And so it's a little bit, I guess, it's both lucky and unlucky that I drew the Alpha Rampage. My mentor doesn't really do anything anymore, other than give me Intimidates. So this card for sure I want to block with.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say I'm gonna block this for 3.
So it's coming in for 5, right? Let's see. Chain link damage is going through. I am simply going to buff it with an Out for Blood using my last resource.
Yep.
Target weapon gains +2, so the 5 goes up to 7. However, you defended a card in your hand.
Yep.
So it goes up to 8 damage.
No, that's not the next attack.
Oh, sorry. Oops. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm rusty on Dorinthea.
No problem.
My next attack goes +1. So this comes in for
So this
2,
is 7.
5, 7.
Yeah, so I block 3,
Yep.
and I take 4.
4. Now I need additional resources, and I'm out because I used my out for blood. I'm going to crack the Blossom of Spring.
Yeah, Blossom of Spring is a card that we both have.
Yep.
So your equipments, you basically have access to every game. So you want to try to like maximize your usage of your equipment. So Saint's using his equipment in this case to kind of get in for more damage when he can.
Yep. I have a go again, so I should use it. I'm going to use my Dawnblade Resplendent. The second time, the out for blood buff is 1.
Yeah.
I mean, the attack chain, the combat chain goes, right?
Yeah,
because I created an action. See, I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
But this effect still
works.
trails, and it has a second +1. So it's Dawnblade Resplendent, second attack uses a resource, and it comes in for 4 attack.
Yeah, so I basically have some decisions to make. For example, this pack hunt costs 2, and this pitches for 2. That's like a pretty clean 2-card hand. But then I still have this card kind of here. This card costs 3, so for sure I can't play it unless I use the other 2 cards for resources or if I want to use my chess piece. But then if I was going to play this, I would rather play this Wounded Bull instead. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to block with this Beast Mode, and my plan is to play the Pack Hunt at the beginning of the next turn.
Beginning of the next turn. Okay, he's blocking with the Beast Mode. He declared blocks, and right now I've got 1 damage due. However, I want to use all of my cards, I think. Do I? Let me see. You know what? In this case, if it's coming in for 4 and I'm doing 1 damage, I will instead... Actually... Arsenal. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for 4 damage.
Okay, sounds good.
During the reaction window.
Exactly. So after we declare attacks and blocks, then we both get a chance to play attack and defense reactions. We haven't drawn any defense reactions yet. I believe there is one in each deck.
Okay.
But right now you're attacking for 7.
7.
And I'm blocking for 3, so I take another 4.
Yep. There we go. That resolves, and at the end of my turn, I put the card pitch at the bottom, drop to 4 cards.
Yep.
And it is Yuanji's turn.
And so now I can attack with this Pack Hunt with Intimidate, but I think now that I'm lower health, this is going to be kind of one of my only chances to use this Wounded Bull for maximum effect. So I'm going to use the Blossom of Spring for a resource. And I'm going to pitch 2, and I'm going to attack with the Wounded Bull. It's normally 6, but I'm lower health, so it's going to be for 7.
Okay, you're going to attack me for 7. Okay, I need this for resources. I'm torn between this card gets go again if it hits. I need this for resources. I need to attack and try to attack again. Can do reaction. I think the Driving Blade feels like the odd... man out. No, I need more resources. I already know I need 1 + 1 to attack. If it doesn't hit, I need this as well. So, you know what? I am going to block 1, 2, 3. This is Battle Worn.
Let's put it.
Yeah, Blade Break. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to take 4 damage.
Okay.
So Gallantry Gold is already Battle Worn. So we didn't bring enough dice, but that's done. These guys, do they get turned around? They go to graveyard.
Yeah.
I'll turn them around because there's no graveyard interaction, I don't think.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm down to 11 and you draw up?
Yep.
Was that your turn?
That was my turn.
All right. Let's see if my plan played out.
Okay.
I'm going to play a Warrior's Valor, giving this +3.
Yeah.
And if it hits, go again.
Yeah.
It itself is go again. Pitching my Hit and Run.
Okay.
So that costs 1. I've got 2 resources left. Where's the 2? There you go. All right, I still have 2 cards in hand. I'm going to use my Gallantry Gold since it's already used. The action point buffs everything by +1.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's 1, 2, goes down to 1. And every attack gains +1. So I have Dawnblade Resplendent coming in for 6.
Okay. I actually have 2 cards in my hand that don't block. 3 cards that don't block. So I can only block 3 here. Plus I have 1 on Blade Break. So actually, like, doesn't really make sense for me to block here. Ideally, I want to play this Wild Ride, so I just kind of want to set up this Wild Ride. Ideally, I can draw like a blue or a yellow. So I'm actually just going to block with the Bone Vizier for 1. And the Bone Vizier actually has an effect, so I can reveal the top card of my deck. So it is a 6. If you have 6 or more, put it on top of your deck, otherwise put it on the bottom. So this is actually like a really good card, I think, for me to draw on the next turn. Ideally, I would want to discard one of these reds.
Okay.
So that's my block. I'm blocking for 1 on your 6.
On your 6. Okay, I have no mana left. It's gonna go through, it seems, and I will have a go again, but I think my goal is to always play everything I can. So I'm going to play run through. It's got go again anyway, but more importantly, the sword attack gains +2.
On the next one?
On the next one. 2 resources become 1 because I pitched a driving blade.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's still part of that chain. Now, 6 damage is coming through, 5 because you blocked 1.
Yeah, I'll take
right?
5.
Down to 7.
Yep.
And then I've got 1 resource left. Gallantry Gold plus its own attack. So it's 3, 4 from the Gallantry Gold. And I'm coming in for 7 because of the run through with Dawnblade Resplendent again.
No, this is 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oops. 6. My bad.
Yeah,
bad at math.
I'll take 6. I got
3, 4, 5. Yes.
Yeah,
6.
no blocks.
No blocks. All right. Yuanji's down to Uno. And hopefully, the good guy wins. We'll see. I need the mana. Hit and run. So actually I'm going to stack the driving blade because I think I have a blue under there.
Okay.
Was I correct?
Yeah.
I was. I'm drawing up.
Okay. I'm going to attack with a Wild Ride.
Yeah.
So I draw a card first, and then I discard a card at random. And if it has 6 or greater power, then this has to go again.
Ooh. Draw a card and then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, Wild Ride gains go again. Okay. I will discard a card.
Yep.
This one. Oof. Okay. Bare fangs.
So my Rhinar ability first happens. I intimidate a card at random. I'll pick this one.
This is going in here. I can look at it. It happens to be this card, a bauble, one of my 3 blocks.
So now my Wild Ride has go again.
Okay, so it's coming in for 6. I'm about to take 6 damage, right?
Oh, you say no blocks?
Nope, no blocks.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you take 6.
Down to 5.
And so go again means I get my action point back.
Yep.
So I'm going to play this pack hunt. So I intimidate you again, and I'm attacking for 6.
Okay.
So I'll take this card.
You'll take this card.
Yep.
I've got 2 cards left, and I believe I need to make sure I have enough mana or enough resources to survive. So I'm already intimidated, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to block for 3.
Okay.
Take 3.
What? And then I'm going to arsenal this card.
Okay. All right. No mana. Okay. I am left with only this. Next weapon attack gains +3. So it's an on guard, pitching a titanium bottle.
Okay.
So my next attack gets +3. Sharpened steel.
Okay.
Gains another +3.
Okay.
And I'm going to swing for 8 with my Dawnblade Resplendent. Trying to give it my all.
So I have to block with this. And then I block 6. This blocks 8.
You will block 8. Come to fight. Ironhide Gauntlet. So the gauntlet blows up, and then the damage is done, right? I do not have a go again. I do not have cards, and that's it. Right?
Yep.
Yep. 1 floating resource goes away. There we go.
I'm going to attack with this Wrecking Ball. So I draw a card and discard a random card. I don't have any cards in my hand, so I'm going to discard this card.
Yep.
Which is a Muscle Nut, which has 6 power. So I get to intimidate both from my Rhinar and then also from this. So I intimidate twice.
You do. All right.
I'll pick the 2 cards on the end.
Are getting intimidated?
Yep.
Okay. You're coming in for 6, and I'm at 2, correct?
Yeah.
Ouch. That means I have to block for 6.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh, I got your Majestic.
You got my Majestic. Yes, I lost my Glistening Steel Blade. 2-1. This is oftentimes how these Fab games go down to. I have a flock in my hand. If I have to pitch to use my flock, then I have nothing in my hand, so it's done,
you can't
right?
play it because it's part of the cost.
Okay. Unfortunately, I think the only thing I can do is try to swing for lethal. Well, it's just swing for 2.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear you say you had a flock. So I'm gonna block 2 with Rally the Rear Guard.
Okay, and I have no reactions. That's done. And yeah, that was a feels bad turn.
Yep.
But I do have an arsenal card, which is a flock, which I've told Yuanji already because we're playing a friendly game.
Yeah, all I can do is attack for 6.
Attack for 6, no discard?
Nope.
No nada? Wow.
And so like
towards some decisions here.
So the tension is basically if like the more cards you block with, the less powerful your attacking turns are.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sane is kind of just trying to figure out, like, he has a card in his arsenal. He wants to try to like make use out of most of his cards, but at the same time, he probably has to block 2 cards. Most cards in this game block from 0 to 3.
Yep.
So if I'm attacking for 6 and he's at 2, then he needs to block at least 2 cards from his hand. So he has like basically like 3 cards to work with on the next turn.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
Yep. I think I know what I'm doing. I'm going to block for 5 and take 1 damage.
Sure. We're both at 1.
We're both at 1. That's it, right?
That's it.
Okay. Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
I've got an arsenal card. I'm going to play a flock, pitching a toughen up,
Okay.
revealing a card in my hand.
Ooh, the Sigil of Solace.
Sigil of Solace. And I'm coming in for 5.
Yes. Okay. I have no choice. I have to block 6.
Have to block 6.
And you got a Quicken token,
I do get a Quicken token.
which gives your next thing.
Next thing, go again.
Yep.
Next attack action. This is the end of my turn, so I'm not going to waste a sigil. I'm simply going to use the sigil, going up to 2 life.
Sure.
As an instant. And you blocked for 5. Okay, and now we are in the balance. We're in the balance of onesies, twosies of life.
I think I got this one.
You've got this one?
So I'm going to play an Awakening Bellow, which gives my next Brute attack action card +3. Also intimidates.
Intimidate. Okay.
So I'll have 2 resources.
All right.
So I pick this one.
This is getting intimidated away. Okay.
And then I'm attacking you with the Pack Hunt.
For 9.
So 9, but then I also get to intimidate a card with the Pack Hunt.
Oh no.
So saying there's 2 cards.
2 cards down.
2 cards in his hand. And he's facing
2 life.
2 life and an attack for 9.
And I will block for 4 and die. All right. Good game. So
Wow, it's pretty close there.
yeah, it's pretty close. I think we both did our best. I don't think there was much room for optimization. No additional tricks.
Yeah, so basically, like, this game is all about keeping a balance between pressuring your opponent, finding spots where you can take damage, finding spots where you have to block, maybe because you don't have like a really good turn to follow up.
Yep.
And that's basically what it is. I think that these 2 classic battle decks are pretty well balanced against each other. The game was really close. Saint got me to 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, like I think if you're a new player who's trying to get into Flesh and Blood, I don't know if Classic Battles is necessarily the best value product.
But it's a great place to learn and begin the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And as well as get a couple of cool collectible pieces, some great art, some cards that won't show up anywhere else.
You got 4 cold foils.
4 cold foils, 8 rainbow foils.
Yep.
And a simple set of gear for 2 heroes to start up with, as well as, you know, the full art renditions of the heroes.
Yeah. So hopefully this video is helpful. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, that's right. And if you really like what we're doing, help us out by joining our YouTube membership and watch the private episodes of The Long Game.
Yeah, and those are going to be videos that are more focused on kind of like the monetization aspect of TCGs.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. That's it for now. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.